Alright, all you video gamers, welcome to yet another destructive anger mismanagement edition of the DJ Smokey's True Video Game Stories. And with a title like that, we decided to go with the video game none other than The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. And for anybody who's never played this game before, just think of Spider-Man 2 with a little hint of mercenaries in there with the Hulk, which is a cool concept altogether. And for proof of that cool concept, folks, I think it's time for us to go ahead, get angry, and take it out on an entire metropolis with some army guys and SWAT officers and anything else they can throw at us along the way as we get ready to paint the picture. Alright, this video game story began approximately 14 years ago when I decided to get this game after seeing so many different commercials of the Incredible Hulk just tearing everything to pieces around him in this giant oversized city, and I looked at my sister and said, yep, I'ma get that game one day, I'ma get it. And lo and behold, 3 weeks later after making that statement, I would be able to get a chance to play this game after getting it from a GameStop at the mall, and would just run around instead of doing missions, just tearing things to pieces. I mean, from not only messing with SWAT officers and police officers, grabbing them from out of nowhere, and just hitting them with this weird modified face crusher bulldog move from the top of buildings as they would all scream, "Oh God, no!" as they would fall all the way to the ground and get pancaked from the bulldog that I did to them, and even taking apart street lights and playing baseball with a couple of them. And as a matter of fact, one of the side missions I would be able to do in this game would be called SWAT. And SWAT as then hit him with a steel beam and knocked them out of the park as far as I could, and I would get a gold medal rank in that said challenge. But that's a story for another day, because during this moment of destruction, I would realize in the upper right hand corner there would be a meter up there telling me, yeah, you better cut that out before they send more soldiers. And I said, oh no, I'm shaking in my boots, what are they gonna do to the Incredible Hulk? And just kept beating the living crap out of people, ripping apart cars to turn them into boxing gloves, beating the crap out of airplanes and anything that tried to take me out, until the little meter on the right hand side that kept warning me went to critical mass, and then they started to send these mech soldiers after me, and they tried to ruin my fun. Cause while I was picking up a city bus and jumping into the air, taking out helicopters by throwing it at it, the next thing you know, these soldiers in these mech suits would come along and punch me in the back, and while I was getting a good combination going on, they ruined it. So I said, what do you think you're doing? And then the second they saw me after one of them punched me from behind, I could have sworn I saw one of them say, oh God, no! And I grabbed them, picked them up in the air, and I would be able to pull one of the coolest moves I would ever see in this game yet. And it's the ability to actually pick one up and power bomb it right into the ground so bad that it actually knocked down a building from the height where I was able to hit it with. And I said, jeez, I need to do that more often. And I would be able to get a chance to once I made my way into the desert and was surfing on the top of, and I kid you not when I say this, a giant oversized tank, using it as a surfboard, making my way back into the city until another one of those pesky mechs came along and then knocked me off my surfboard. I said, hey man, what's your problem? And then he just kept saying, oh, I found the target, I found the target. And I said, oh yeah, you found the target all right. Snatched them out of the air, power bombed them, and upgraded the power bomb to the point where I can actually not only power bomb them once, but repeatedly over and over again. And I said, really? And while he was bouncing off the ground like a pogo stick from these nasty, disgusting power bombs, I was just making my way back to the city to cause more destruction, just power bombing him over and over again. And I said, Jesus, how many power bombs can I do? And if you're wondering at home how many power bombs I did to this guy before I made my way back to the city, I do believe it was approximately 32 power bombs this guy was able to take before I made my way into the city limits, picked him up, threw him into one of the buildings, and broke the buildings into pieces. And after I was able to pull that off, apparently they said, oh, we need to scramble the jets, get the people in the buildings with rocket launchers. Maybe that'll stop them. Wrong. Because then I would decide to use my gamma powers to go to critical mass, wave my arms out as far as I could, and just collapse. And then it would just fill the entire screen with a giant wave of gamma radiation where everything would go in super slow motion and the cars would go boop, 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 and just stretch out, and all the buildings and everything that was caught in that giant gamma wave of just radiation would just spread out to the point where it would just destroy everything in that area. And after doing that, I would have to take this game on over to my sister's house and show her what I was able to do. But unfortunately for my sister, seeing the fact that just like in Spider-Man, when you drop from high buildings, you sort of feel it in your stomach, when she played the game for the first time and tried to do a couple of the moves like jump off the buildings or anything, she would feel it in her stomach and would say, oh, I don't think I can play this game. And I told her, oh, but I can. Picked up one of the soldiers that she wasn't able to finish off, jumped off the top of one of the biggest buildings I could, and just power bombed them, or just pile drive them into another building, causing the whole building to just get leveled right before her very eyes, for her to say, oh, I think I can play it again. But it would take her about a good 3 weeks to get used to the vertigo or the motion sickness of this game before she really got good at it, and to the point where she would be able to catch a missile from a jet and throw it right back at it, for me to invent a brand new game once I'll be able to take the game home after I let my sister borrow it for 3 weeks, known as Jetball, which my record to this day would be a 500-yard pass to a jet. Seriously, that was a thing that happened in this game. And I guess with that said, folks, wraps it up for another Destructive Playground Anger Mismanagement edition of the DJ Smokey's True Video Game Stories. And with that, we'll be back with more right after this. So stay tuned.